Hello everyone, welcome to our channel. Today we'll discuss about one of the important function of educational management, that is effective decision making. So we have to understand what is the decision making and how we can take appropriate decisions. As you know that each and every organization and every institution or educational institution need consistently take appropriate decisions at a various level. And this decision making process ranges start from the decision related to strategic to the managerial and the routine operational decisions. What is strategic decisions? Strategic decisions are the high level decisions to develop the operational guidelines, the principles, set the standard, and to manage the overall institutional aspect of any institution. The managerial decisions, executions of those strategic decisions, how to implement those strategic decisions, and you have to need the planning, organizing, coordinating aspect. Whereas the routine operational decisions is your day-to-day activity. The decision related to your day-to-day activities means how you are alerting the classes to the faculty, how you are managing the classroom, how you are alerting responsibility to the various class teachers. So all these things. So in any business organization or any teaching institutions, as you know that the selections of appropriate options are most important things in decision making process. We go through the Peter Drucker concept of effective decision making in 1967. What he told? He told that the effective decision making is defined as a process through which alternatives are selected and then managed through implementations to achieve the business objective. As you know that in any organizations, we can define how you are selecting the alternative decisions. When we are facing any problem, we normally take the decisions to solve those problems. And when we want to solve those problems, we have to identify the various alternatives and options. And then you have to select most appropriate decisions, and to select those options and implement those options so that you can get the desired objective. So broadly, you can say that the effective decision results from the systematic process, how you are deriving the decisions, how you are selecting the options and alternatives are important with clearly defined elements. You have to define the decision making process very precisely, and that is handled in a distinct sequence of steps. You cannot take the decisions haphazardly, or you have 4 or 5 options, you can select one option randomly. That is not the correct process. You have to follow a step by step approach in the decision making process. So management accountants have the key role to play throughout the effective decision making process. So any decision making process, you need to follow certain procedures or the steps. What are those steps? These are called the 7 steps to this effective decision making. The first one is identify the decisions. Identify the decisions. Whenever we want to select any option, first we need to take the what decisions that I am going to take, and the decision should be based on you what problem that you are facing. From that problem, then you have to check whether I have the correct options or not. For example, when you have one option, if someone will ask you, do you like tea? You have one option only. Either you have go for yes or no. Suppose you have the two options. Do you like tea or coffee? You have the two options. But when somebody will ask you, do you like the cold coffee? Do you like the green tea, the red tea, the milk tea, and so and so? So when you have the multiple options, you are facing the problem how to select an appropriate decisions. So first important point is that how you are identifying your decisions. What decision that you want to take, you should precisely define what decisions that you are going to take. The second option is that gathering the information. Once you have finalized that what decisions that you want to take, you need to collect information or gather information from the various source so that these informations may require from various sources. Say for example, the students are facing the discipline problems in the schools. A teacher is facing disciplines or indiscipline problem in the classroom. So you need to collect the data related to the students' personal background, with related to your teaching learning process, with respect to how they what normally the students do in the schools or beyond the school hour. You have to interact with the peers. So many sources are available to gather the information, and based on the information that you have gathered, you have to identify the alternatives. Based on the information gathered, you have to frame your problem, and in order to solve those problems, you may identify various alternatives. It may be various one depending upon the type of situation. And when you have these options 1 2 3, say for example you have the four alternatives, and these alternatives you have finalized after gathering the informations. Once you have identified these alternatives, you have to weight the evidence based on the information that you are gathered, that you have already gathered from various sources. You need to identify how one alternative is more evidence based to solve a particular problem, and all you need to weight all your options depending upon the situations, depending upon the information that you have collected. And also you need to understand what advantages and disadvantages of all these alternatives and the options are. Then the fifth one is you have to choose among the alternatives. Whatever these four alternatives that you have finalized, you have to choose whether I have to choose I have to choose the first alternative, second alternative, third, or the fourth one, which is more conducive to you, keeping in view your own context, based on your expertise, based on the feasibilities of implementation of those alternatives are required. So you have to select the one of the best alternatives, that whether you have to take one or two, whatever it may be. So that may be one of the reasons to understand which is the most appropriate decisions for you, and you have to select the most appropriate alternative based on that. And after finalizing whether I'll take the first alternative, second alternative, third alternative, suppose you have identified your first options will be most appropriate, then you have to take an appropriate actions. That means you have to implement your decisions, and based on the final option or alternative that you have chosen. And after your action has been taken, you have to review your decisions whether my decisions what I have taken is really solve my problem or not. If you had not solved the problems, you have to select the second alternatives. Then you have to go follow the process. Then you have to go to the third alternatives. So if a particular option is well deserved or has the potential to solve the problem and you are able to resolve your problem, then you can say that your decision is appropriate. If you fail, if the particular alternative is fail to solve your problem, fail to meet your objective, then you have to go for alternatives, whatever the other alternatives are available. So this is the most appropriate decision making process in any educational institution. So in the teaching learning process, or whenever you are talking about any teachers training institutions or the, you can say, the educational management, the management need to consider each and every decisions very judiciously. Now what is happening, now we are taking very blindly taking the decisions in a most uh, in eye estimations way, or we are adapting without following the due procedures. Blindly we are following the guidelines, blindly we are implementing anything. So these are leading to the early indicator of devastation of any institutions. So in most of the schools, whenever we are talking about most of these schools, the government is taking decisions to close more than 10,000 of schools and colleges, and later on they realize that no, these are not maybe appropriate decisions. So these are, we can say that, various examples that we are happening, particularly in Orissa, that are happening in the Orissa. So these decisions need to be judiciously be taken so that you'll not face any adverse consequence in any institution. So this is the classes that we have discussed today about the most appropriate or effective decision making process. If you like the videos, so please do subscribe to the channels and share these videos with the friends. Thank you for your patience hearing.